Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and in today's video I'm going to walk you through how to save an audio recording from Power Apps into SharePoint Online. Now, I had done a proof of concept about this about 2 years ago, and a lot of questions came in on my YouTube saying that, hey, can you share that template with us, or can you walk us through as a deep dive process? And that's everything that I'm going to do in this video over here. I'm going to give you also a copy of the file. It'll be in the Power Users community, either on the Power Apps or the Flow side, but I'll put the link down in the description so you can actually go and get a copy of the file. So here's basically the outcome of this video over here. I'll walk you through the slide deck. I'll jump straight into the demo. That way you can actually see what's going on in the demo over there. And then if everything is what you're looking for, then you can watch the remaining video, which is the deep dive process over there. All right, so in the slide decks, first of all, I want to show you is that I've provided some new additional features because in addition to just saving the audio, you should be able to get some metadata, and that metadata is also the length of the file and also the file size. All right, so here's just an overview of how it works from Power Apps. It does the recording, goes to Power Automate, and then there's the SharePoint. Here's basically the flow of the process. Now, a little bit more information is that in Power Apps, I'm actually doing the recording over there. That's where all the first level of the magic happens. Then also in Power Apps, I converted into a JSON code. Basically, the audio is converted in to get me the raw data. That's how it works over there. And then from that raw data, I go ahead and extract exactly the data that I need from that audio file over there. And then I send that over to Power Automate. Now, Power Automate does its own magic, right? I have a flow running in Power Automate. It takes that raw data file, which I send from Power Apps, and it converts that into audio. And then that audio file is gone ahead and saved it to SharePoint. So it basically works really well. Now that you have an understanding of this, let me actually go ahead and just show you a quick demo of that. Okay, so in the slide deck, I'm going to jump in straight, and here's my working copy of the app. And once the app opens up, I'm going to go and do a quick recording, all right? So this is a test to show how I'm able to successfully do a recording in Power Apps and then go ahead and save that over to a SharePoint list. So stop that, and I'm going to hear it again. So this is a test to show how I'm able to successfully do a recording in Power Apps and then go ahead and save that over to a SharePoint list. All right, so you go ahead and save it. And now I'm going to save that. Now watch closely over here. It says that initially it's 9 seconds. When I save it, it actually gives me an exact copy of how much time it is saved. So it's this little tidbit of of differences, which is very important for you to also see, is that the initial audio you saw over there, it said it's an approximately 9 seconds. And it's an approximation, but here's the exact one. Also in the gallery, I'm able to save it. Review it. Same process over here. I can also go and delete that. But here's what I'm doing. I'm capturing the timestamp, which is basically the user's name, the login user, going ahead and getting the timestamp, the duration, and then now I go ahead and save that. As you can see, the answer marching over there. When I come back over here, if I do a refresh, you will actually see that the flow ran successfully over here. And then when I come to the SharePoint, it's actually a document library. When I refresh it, you can see that that's the actual duration over there. Saved in successfully without any problems over here. And it actually even has the correct icon, which shows you that's how it works. So here's the full overview of how this works. If this is what you're looking for, stay tuned because I'm going to be walking you through the entire demo. So first things first is let's just go ahead and take care of our SharePoint library. What I did for the sake of a cool proof of concept is I actually created a images library. So I'll do the same thing. Is I'm going to come over here, and this is my test site. So I'm going to come and build a document library. Actually, I'm going to build an app, and in the app, I'm going to select one for the images. So let me just find one quickly, and there's the picture library. And here I'm going to say test audio library. All right. I'm going to intentionally say test audio library over here. When I come in, I am going to search for my test audio library. there's an audio library, but the one I just created was the test audio library. So I'm going to come over here. Now this was built to actually store pictures, but I'm going to go ahead and use my same thing for saving images. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to come over here to the library settings, and I'm also going to get, there's a picture taken and all of this is all good stuff, but I'm also going to go and do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the duration. I come over here, I'm going to type that duration, and I'm going to leave the decimal place to automatic. Come back in over here. You know my best practices. I always name it first lowercase, and then I go ahead and get that. That way I can get a continuation of my URL here. So I think I'm good on this side now. I've got my document library, which I'm going to store my audio, and I went ahead and added that one extra column. So I think we're done on the SharePoint side. Now let's switch over to the Power Apps side. So in the Power Apps over here, what I'm going to do is I've come over here and I'm going to build this as a let's do it in my production environment. That way I can know the difference. All right. So in the production environment, I'm going to build a new canvas, and it's going to be a phone layout. Skip. First things first, come here. This is demo speech recorder app. I bet I can find something here which closely looks like a microphone. Let's just phone here. All right, save. And that's basically it. All right. So I'm not going to completely replicate what I just demoed to you, but I want to show you a few important things. First thing is I want to go ahead and get a place where I can put in a file name. All right. So the file name is basically, this is what I've got. I just went ahead and put in a text piece. So I'm going to leave that over here. And in the text, I want to just help by going ahead and auto-populating what the text is going to be. So I went ahead and got the user one over here. And then I'm also putting in this auto-population of file name. All right. So now I can go ahead and get, actually, we'll make it easier. When the app is started, on start, I'll do a set now variable now, and that way I can go ahead and come here, I can run on start, and then here I can get the now variable, and that should go ahead and give me the entire time and date and time and everything. So we're actually doing really well, right? Got that piece done. That was the important, that was the simple one. Next is I come over here, and on the input piece, on the media side, I go ahead and drop the microphone. All right. So here's my nice microphone place I've put in over here. Now in the microphone, I'm going to do a few things. All right. So first is on start. When I go ahead and click on the on start, I can go ahead and actually add a little GIF image over here. That's just to show that there is some recording going on. You don't have to do that, but it really helps to tell people that, hey, there is something going on over here while the recording is there. So make sure that you go ahead and grab that. So, right? So that's what I did in my demo. I won't do it over here. But what I do want to focus on is on the microphone, on its on select. Let's just see, is there anything on the on select? Because sometimes people do get confused between what's the difference between on start and on select. I'm saying nothing on the on select, so I'm going to leave it as it is. But there's a lot of magic now that happens on the on stop over here. All right, so let's go ahead and focus on that. First thing on start is I want to go ahead and get an updated value for what is the timestamp right now. All right, so because remember, the first timestamp which I have, remember that now variable that I created, it opens up and gives me a timestamp of when the app was just opened. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and update that timestamp to now, like when the stopping happens. What is that timestamp? So I'm going to go ahead and just come here and basically do the exact same thing. Is I'm going to get the now timestamp, and that goes ahead and gets updated. Now I got to go and get that microphone one, and I want to go ahead and just temporarily save that data into a variable, just the recording. Okay, just nothing fancy, just the recording. So I'm going to come here and say I'm going to do a temp recording variable. And then I'm going to go ahead and capture that control. The control name is microphone one. and there I'm only getting the audio. Okay, so two things we already did. We captured the timestamp and we went ahead and got just the audio. No massaging has happened on the audio, just the audio. Now things get a little bit more interesting, right? Because if you in Power Apps, the way it works is the way it record the data. I want to only capture very specific amount of that data, because I can't just take the data and send it over to SharePoint or to send it over Power Automate, because Power Automate has this little confusion. Okay, what is this data coming from? The format doesn't make any sense. I'm confused. So it's great. Power Apps is going to make it easier for you. What I'm going to do is, in Power Apps, I'm going to take that audio and I'm going to go ahead and only extract the JSON piece for that. It'll go ahead and extract all the information, because JSON shows all the stuff that is in the audio. Okay? It shows everything that's in the audio, what we need and don't need. And once I've got that full JSON, I can go ahead and do another extraction, which will capture just the audio. Right? I know there's a lot of information I've just shared with you, but it's important that you at least understand that there's a lot of data, and I'm just extracting just the basic bits that I need from there. So here I come in, and I'm going to now go ahead and create another variable, and I'm going to call that as temporary JSON. All right? And in JSON, I'm going to actually use this function that is available, that is called JSON. And in JSON, I'm going to go ahead and now grab that microphone 1, and from that, make sure it is the audio. And here, I'm going to go ahead and say include the binary data. Again, that's a built-in function directly into Power Apps, and that's what I'm saying is that when I'm extracting it from the JSON, I'm going to extract from data from that audio. I'm going to go ahead and take only the binary data. That's all I need. I don't need anything fancy. I don't need all of it, just the binary data, and save this into a JSON format over here. This is the pretty neat thing about Power Apps, because it's going ahead and giving you all the tools that you need to extract that data. Now that I've got that JSON, we've got that binary data, I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to set another variable, and I'm going to do what's called as a string string B64 version. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm converting it. I'm taking from doing a string to binary 64 conversion over there. And there's a little bit of a interesting thing that happens over there, because the way we see that the JSON data that comes in just for the audio has got a lot of information over there, and we just want to extract that audio piece over there. And so here's the magic formula that happens, and I'm going to see if I can get this done on my own. So I take just the mid section of that formula, and that formula was, the binary data was actually stored in our temp JSON place over there. So I'm going to just take the mid section of it, starting at 25, and I'm going to go ahead and now do a length, which is the length conversion over there. Go ahead and add again that JSON, and then I'm going to go ahead and do 25. Now, I know this is a bit confusing over here, and there's a lot going on, but I'm going to try to explain that over to you in a second. Let me just make sure I've got all my formulas correct. I got that. All right. So let's open this up. Kind of try to explain that to you, right? So that was the microphone saved into the temp recording converter variable. That's the easy part. This section over here is where we went ahead and actually saved, took that microphone, and from the microphone place, we took just the binary data, right? Just the pure data from that microphone audio file, and we dumped it into the JSON section over there. Now in the JSON place, what I'm going to do is, from the JSON, there's a lot of information, a lot of bulk information, and I just want the base 64 binary bit over there, just the audio bits over there. I'm going to take that and I'm going to dump it over to the string B64 variable. And the question which is coming is, Daniel, why is it so complex enough to do that? Is because when I'm sending this data over to Power Automate, I need Power Automate just the bare essentials, just that base 64 bit of that audio to go and do the transfer that it is going to do for us. I can't send it all this lots and lots of information, because that's going to get Power Automate a little confusing. I just want to give it that base and just the bare information, and after that it does its magic. And it's easier to do this on the Power App side than to go ahead and do that on the Power Automate side. That's why I went ahead and just took care of the whole thing over here. All right. So the saving part is done, and believe it or not, you've actually now finished a huge chunk of this entire solution building process over here. Okay, so let me just go ahead and make sure I save it. And now I'm going to just put in a button, right? Put in that button over here. In fact, before I even put in the button, I'm going to also put in an audio feature over here. That way in the audio, I can actually hear what is going on. So let me just drop this audio piece over here. And in the audio piece, I don't have to, directly connect it to it. That's where I can use that variable. Because remember over here in the on stop, I said I'm going to save that microphone thing to the temp recording variable. So let me just go and grab that, put that over here, and its media is coming from that temp recording variable. All right, pretty easy. Now in the button piece over here, I'm going to call that as save. And in the save one, now we're going to drop a gallery. So inside the gallery, I'm coming over here. Let me go ahead and actually just get a few things. I will just put in the gallery. I think I just need 2 titles for now. That should be enough for now. Just make it a little bit more nicer. Okay, and all said and done, in the gallery, this is where we're going to use that other piece, is the speech collection piece over here. Oh, actually it's in the save button over here. On the save button, this is where I'm going to go ahead and now save all this data that we've collected, and I'm going to save that over to a collection. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to do a collect. I could even do a clear collect, but I'll just do a clear collect. Actually, just a collect. And I'm going to call this as a temp speech recording collection. Right? Do that. That way I've already got my collection, everything ready here. Do that. And now there's a couple of things I'm going to need. I'm going to go ahead and at least capture the audio. Now in the audio, I'll just use the same variable that I have, is the temp recording variable, the one that we just talked about. Then I'm going to grab the duration. The duration is also in the same temp audio, which I have. Temp audio came in, which is this one over here, the audio one. I'm going to go to the audio one, and I'm going to go ahead and grab not the time, but I'm going to grab the duration. All right. Next is the recording time, recording name. Let's just call it recording name. And that recording name came from this text over here. See, this text. So double click on that, capture that, save it. Dot text. And then finally, it is the actual recording itself. And that recording is going to be our string base64 conversion variable. All right. So let's see. After I go and do that, when I'm going ahead and saving it, I can go ahead and clear that text field if I want. That way the text has a new date and new time. So let me just go and change that text input. All right. That should be enough. Okay, so now we've got a gallery over here. So just as a quick test, if I go ahead and dump in my gallery, what all do I see over here? You know, really not much because I haven't done any recording. So let's just do a test. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop, play it. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Hopefully you're able to hear that as well. And if I go and save that, see what it did? It captured everything and it gave me this big long information over here, which is the recording itself. It actually gave me the data version of that. And I don't need the data version. What I do need is actually the audio itself. I'm going to delete that. And in here, I'll actually drop another label, which is basically just the audio piece. And in the audio piece, I'm going to name that one over to this item audio. Because remember that audio was what we saved in as a gallery. All right, let's see. What is this error that it has? Oh, that's just the hide piece over there. We don't need that. Worry about that. Okay, so we've got the file name over here. We've got the actual audio over here. Is there anything else we need? Actually, we do. What we can do is we can go and get the entire duration. Okay, so this item and then the duration. And I don't even have to go and search for that because it just by default, the IntelliSense tells me these are the items that you're storing in your gallery. It's got to be one of them. And that's basically it. So that's basically how I've gone ahead and captured all this information. And in the app of mine, which I demoed over there, you saw that I went ahead and put in file name text, duration text, and you can do all of that. You know, you can just come in over here in the text piece or the default piece. It's actually the text piece over here. You can say something like file name colon there, and you can do that. You can basically do something like this, and it gives you the entire file name over there. Put in a little space. Same thing for here. I can come in, I can say duration space there, and then it works that way. So that's basically all that I did on the app side over there. Okay, so got the process down where I have taken the data. I've able to massage it just to get the audio piece over there. Went ahead and created a temporary gallery, and now the final piece on the Power App side is I'm going to come in and I'm going to insert the icon, basically do the saving. All right, and let me just go ahead and do a save here, because in the save part, what I'm going to do actually is take a break for a minute in the Power App side, and I'm going to jump into the Power Automate and build a flow over there. Okay, so we'll keep this as it is, and now let's switch over to the flow side. So Power App side, I went ahead and put in my production environment. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to switch over to my production one. And let me just actually come over here directly in the Power Apps, go to the Power Automate. It is loading. Okay, on here, my flows, and I'm going to call this one as, yeah, I can ignore that. Come here, create one from blank. I'm going to call this as save audio file to SharePoint Online. F-I-L-E. Now my trigger over here, I could leave it as skip, but I know my trigger is coming from Power Apps. That's why I can just go and click that over here. Power Apps, created that, and we've got this initial thing going on over here. So data is coming in from Power Apps. In Power Apps, it went ahead and did as much massaging as it could do on Power Apps, and then on Power Automate, I got to do one last massaging. Is I got to take that data, which was that base 64 to conversion string that is happening over there. And now I got to go ahead and take that data, which is as a string conversion. I'm going to temporarily save that in a string variable and then convert that into a video file. And to do that, I want to use a variable. So I'm going to come to the choice selection over here, choose an action. I'm going to type in variables, and over here, this is it. I'm going to use an initial variable functionality. Now in Power Apps, we did a base 64 to string, which means that variable that's just coming in, it can only be stored to a type string. So what I'll do is I'll just call this as base 64 to audio, right? Because at the end of the day, it's going to be just audio. And I'll come over here and I'm going to say that data is actually coming from Power Apps. So I'm going to say ask in Power Apps, all right? And you all know me how I am, so I'm just going to save it. So it goes ahead and does the saving. And next is I'm going to now grab some data from, I'm going to start creating that file in SharePoint. So let me just do SharePoint, and in SharePoint, the first action we're going to do is create file. So that's the one, create file, all right? Create file. So in create file, I want to go ahead and now grab that document library. I want to link it to that. So that was actually stored in a test site. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to search for that test site. Now, if you haven't used that test site before, you can go to SharePoint, get the URL and put it over here, or you can just do a search. Just scroll down and do a search. Now, it happens that my test site actually showed up over here. So I'm going to click on that. Now, the folder path can sometimes be a little bit interesting because my folder path, which I have over here for that test site, was called as test audio library. So I'm going to try to do that. Just do the test audio library, and just by typing it in, it should be able to grab that. Now, if there was any errors, it would actually tell you that what the error is, but there isn't anything. So now I'm going to just say the file name, again, ask in Power Apps. And then here is where the other magic happens. Is I'm going to take that data and I'm going to do that conversion process. So the conversion over here is what happens. I'm going to come here and I'm going to do base 64 to string. open the brackets, and when I open it, by default it goes ahead and closes it as well. So now I gotta come out of it, go back inside, and then here I go ahead and now put that variable in. So next thing is we've got the file content, but I gotta name the file. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna give the file name as mp3. You could put it as some other files as well. mp3, the one is just best suited. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then the final piece is I'm gonna come over here and I gotta go ahead and add that duration. So I'm gonna go ahead and now say it is a SharePoint list, because I gotta go and call that same item and update that property. So I gotta do that SharePoint, come that over here. I gotta find, well, in SharePoint what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna search for update file properties, because it's not the file content. We're not updating the file. We're updating the properties of that. And one of the properties we did was in the column we added, which was the duration. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna select update file properties. The site name is that test site, which is at the bottom. And over here, just come over here, click on the enter custom value, and then search for test audio library. All right, now it went ahead and found it, and now I can go ahead and search for it, create the file, the list item ID. Now this create the file is coming from create the file over here. So we got to go get the ID of that file. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to get that file over here, and then in the duration, I'm going to also grab that data directly from Power Apps. That's why I'm going to say ask in Power Apps, and then we should be done. This piece is all done on the Power Apps side. Now, duration was something that we are sending in from Power Apps as well. Remember, I went there and grabbed that duration and put it in the library. That's the exact on the gallery. That's the exact thing we are going in and grabbing it over here. But now, if you recap, there's three things that we're asking Power Apps to send us. We're getting the file itself. We're going to go ahead and also get the the file name, because that's where we're going to send that over here, and then we're also getting the duration. So let's go ahead and save this just to make sure everything is good. Come outside, save it. Remember, it's in our production tenant over here, environment over here. So now let's switch back into Power Apps, and over here I am going to now apply that to the on select of the icon over here. I want to run this Power App. So if you remember, save audio file to SPO was the flow that we created. I'll click on that. There's a couple of things I want to do. First of all is there is a way where I may have done multiple recordings of videos over here, and I want to go ahead and send them all to SharePoint at the same time, which means I got to send multiple files over to Flow. There'll be there'll be savings going on over there, which means I need to come up with a way for Power Apps to say, hey, I want all of these items in this gallery to send that over. All right, and the best way to do that is the using the for all function over there. But I'll come to that in a bit. I'm going to click on this run, and now we know that this is other things that the Power Apps, the flow is looking for. It's looking for the initial value, and that was just the file name, and that was that was the initial value was actually the SharePoint, the actual file that it was looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and just do recording. Then in here, I'm going to go ahead and also say what was the file name, and the file name was this one. So it was actually it's not that one. It is the what was it? Recording. It's the item in the gallery. So in the gallery over here, I've actually got a few things. The recording label name. What do we call that recording label name? It was this one over here. Recording name text gallery. So that's what we're going to do. We went ahead and just get this item. Now what I did was I went ahead and actually deleted whatever was this label over here. I could go ahead and make it a little easier. I can actually start giving in some names to these ways that is done over here. That way in the gallery, if I go ahead and start naming things, then it's easier for you to go ahead and add that functionality into the Power Apps piece over there as well. So here I'm going to call this as recording name gal, and then the duration piece, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and change this so all I need is the duration, and I'm going to call this as duration gal. The reason I put in the gal after that is I know that these are the controls that are inside the gal, so that really helps. So now in the save piece over here, I've got the recording going, and then I'm also going in and saving the file name, and the file name is recording name gal. Let me just make sure I've got that correct over here. Recording name gal, and it's going to be a text. That's why it needs that text format. And then finally the duration, and the duration is going to be duration gal dot text. Okay, now I can't just go ahead and put it this way because I'm sending some data back over here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that, and also not sending data, but I'm going to do the for all, and I'm going to grab the entire collection name. That's the entire collection name, and I'm going to give it that magic. I'm saying it that for all the items in this collection, I want you to send them over to Power Automate. And that is basically the beauty of this piece over here. Let me go and save that to just kind of give you an overview. I know I spoke a lot because I know it's jumping back and forth. So let me just kind of do a recap over here. In the recap place, I'm going ahead and saving it. And in the saving, initially, I just took all the data which was up over there, and I'm saving it into a collection. The audio, duration, recording name, and the recording over there. In here, I'm going to go ahead and basically in the save functionality, I'm giving it the option to do multiple savings. And I can go ahead, it'd be a situation where I want to take a few recordings. Let me just read all the recordings, and if everything is good, then I save it over there. Otherwise, I can delete a few things, so on and so forth. So that's what I wanted to do. In the save functionality, I need to give the option to take all the items from this gallery and then save that over to SharePoint. So that's why I used the for all. And in the for all, I went ahead and added the Power Automate flow that I created. And as you remember, in the Power Automate flow, it was looking for three things. It's actually looking for the recording, the name that we give that recording file, and then the duration. That's why inside the function, this Power Automate flow function, or the call that we're doing, I have to also send the three things over there. All right. And then after that, you can go ahead and even do something where it goes ahead and once the data is sent, go ahead and just clear this collection. So that's what I'll do. I'll just clear that. So let me save this. And now finally, I think we've got everything done. We went ahead and built the SharePoint gallery. We went ahead and built, the basic piece of the app. Just took a break, went to Power Automate, build it over there, and now we're going to come back and do a test. So I think I already got some data here.
Testing.
Yep. So let me just save that. Saw the ants marching over there, which means something happened. The clear went down and cleared it. We refresh that. It was successful. So let's just take a look. Well, before we go there, let's just see, did it show up on SharePoint in an audio library over there? And it did. It went ahead and showed up over here. Even if I go ahead and create a list view, and in my list view, it is able to show the file size and also my duration. Now, I don't have any picture size. That's why I didn't pull that in, but it successfully went ahead and saved that here. But let's test that for all functionality. Okay, let's just do that quick test. So now I can go and play the app. When I do a start, it gives me a fresh timestamp. So I'm going to click over here. It says this is the test to actually see if the full solution that we built from ground up actually works. Click on stop. Do that.
Click over here. It says this is the test to actually see if the full solution that we built from ground up actually works. Click on stop.
Looks good. It says it's 7 seconds. When I save it over here, it's actually 7.439. That's perfect. Let's do another test. This is test number 2 to make sure that everything actually works just the way that I promised.
This is test number 2 to make sure that everything actually works just the way that I promised.
I'll save that. Alright, so that's a different time. So now we've got different timestamps for a different file name. Gone ahead and gotten the 2 different durations. Now remember, we used the for all. So if I do save, it's sending it over there, which means I should technically see 2 flows running, total of 3 flows. So I did see 2 flows running over here, which means in the document library over there, audio library, I should see 2 more items. And first coming in, there should be another one coming in. Maybe it got overwritten, but actually that's what happened. It just got overwritten because of the file name. But as you can see, it works. The data came through over here. It works really successfully. So again, as I quick recap, we were able to go ahead and take the data, create the recording in Power Apps, go ahead and using Power Automate, save that, then we created the SharePoint library, and then using Power Automate, we were able to go and save the data over there. Now, in closing, I know what some of you may be thinking. Let me just go ahead and start the presentation over here. You must be thinking that, Daniel, we are so close, right? We went ahead and did the Power Automate work, converted the file, saved it to SharePoint. But is there a way I can do a speech to text option? Because there is Cognitive Services, which has that speech to text option. And then the answer is that yes, we are very close, because what's happened is there is in Cognitive Services this speech to text option, but unfortunately there is no connector already available over here. So technically there is no out-of-the-box solution, but there is a request already put in for this. So you can actually go and vote for that connector. So in the link, in my description over there, there's actually a link that I've put in, and let me show you what that is. I come back over here. Right here in the Power Apps Community Ideas place, somebody's already put it in. It says connecting speech or API Cortana with Power Apps, with the Power Apps for approval, rejection, and whatnot. That request is already put in over there to get that speech API to do the conversion piece. And there's already 89 votes for that. And they already said that it's under review. So if you want, you can go ahead and put in more requests over there, because it's already a work in progress. And once that happens, you can go ahead and get that speech to text conversion over there. And that way, now you've done a done deal. Like, for example, there could be situations where in a legal company for attorneys, medical company for doctors, after an appointment, they've gone ahead and done all this recording. Now with a tool like this, even once there's a speech to text conversion, the recording is done, saves it to a data source like SharePoint, and it automatically even goes ahead and converts the speech to text over there. So hopefully this was important. I know we covered a whole lot, so if you come back over here, you can break it down into pieces over there and walk you through, some of the little bit of the coding piece that I showed you as well. But all in all, this is now a full solution of how you can do a recording video or audio on your Power Apps and then save it to a data source. So as always, keep Power Apping.